leave you a chance to get away. I'm gonna actually kind of reflect on what we just heard, because when serious people are doing serious things, they think about every detail. And what got me in this presentation is how much thought goes into who goes into conference, because most of the companies that I know actually send the most deserving employee to the conference, depending on where the place is. But anyway, our next speaker is somebody who is truly a globetrotter. So if you want to talk to him about doing business in Asia, there is a vast chest of experience. If you want to talk about states, that's where he currently resides. So of course, that's the topic of the talk. But in general, somebody who has been in sales, customer-facing person, and somebody who can really share with you not just the war stories, but the true and real advices. So, Zoran, my dear friend, there you go.
Thank you, Nebisha, for the kind words and for the introduction. Good morning and welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming to this session. I will continue in English, but before I start, I also just want to acknowledge Nebisha and his team, and to just say congratulations on the second SPLET Tech Conference. I think it's very important, the work that you guys do, and the way that we stimulate the ecosystem here and share the knowledge. And just by the speakers and by the agenda, I can see that this will be even bigger and greater than last year. So it puts Belgrade and Serbia on a map. I think we all have a role to play there, but still big congratulations to you and your team, and just keep pushing. And then when I spoke with Nebisha in preparation for my second appearance at SPLET Tech and choosing a topic, I kind of said it was kind of logical with my latest role to kind of bring in a story about how to win big in US, if we can, how to really win big in the US market. But it's a big topic, correct? And it obviously cannot fit in a 20-minute slot. So what I will do, I will stay away from statistics and from geopolitical researches, etc., but share more practical concepts and ideas of what really works, and maybe how we need to change our mindset coming from this region or any other region for that matter, for us to actually get ourselves ready and be equipped to eventually get onto the market and win. Point one being, we have the right to win, we have the right to play, but what are the strategies and what are the ideas and concepts that we need to apply in order for this to really actually work? So, goes without saying, everybody knows the big land of opportunity. The tech is the leading industry that kind of goes and really, allows for dreamers to actually, convert these dreams into realities. I think there's numerous stories of this that we have seen and heard over years. It doesn't matter if you're American, it doesn't matter if you're immigrant, it doesn't matter if you went to their school, if you went to our school, if you don't even have a school, correct? So from that perspective, it's a huge opportunity, but it requires, and a strategic approach, it requires something that's pretty unique to the product and the maturity of your service that you try to offer and enter the market in. It requires a continuous learning and innovation, and something that you can front with your knowledge, with your curiosity. It requires a very specific way of engaging the market and winning the market, given the competition and the vast opportunity that exists over there and the number of chances that somebody is actually willing to give you. And then obviously there's a very clear a path and steps that we need to take on that road to eventually celebrate what that win or victory or triumph actually really is. It probably is different for different people, for different companies, but nevertheless, it will be a win at the end. So, and I'll spend some time on each one of those just to kind of, take out some ideas and maybe just, place some provocative statements for some of you to think through if you're embarking on this journey, or if you're thinking, or what else is missing, so that maybe if you want, we can even have a conversation after the presentation. But why US market? What is so important, and what is there that we want to really leverage and embrace in that vast market? Correct. One is that really there's an unrivaled ecosystem, something that we need to understand and we want to leverage. Correct. Number one, innovation hubs, something what was traditionally Silicon Valley, only today that's Austin, that's Seattle, that's Florida, that's New York, correct? So it continuously evolves in terms of where innovation is created, and we, as participants in an ecosystem, in a market, need to find a way to leverage this. This is something that's on our fingertips, and it's something that we can and should use, correct? Access to capital, so the most investments and the most money in the VC space and in private equity space later on also obviously comes from the US markets. Therefore, embedding ourselves in that ecosystem, it's very important. Leveraging it, it's very important. So that's why I say unique ecosystem. Access to universities, where the best talent, or one of the best talent, is produced every year. But at the same time, it's not just about people coming out of the universities, but also universities that actively participate in the ecosystem, that actively produce products, that actually have their spin-offs created and thrown into the ecosystem, is something that's very important to leverage when you are thinking of US as a market, correct? And then also diversity of talent. Everybody from all over the world is in the US, different backgrounds, different education, different cultures, different point of views, correct? And that talent pool actually exists there also for us to leverage, not just to think that our current team, wherever it comes from or however we're set up, it's going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. The second big reason why US and how, it's because it's a massive market. You know, with 300 million population, if you add on top of this their GDP and the earning per capita, there's a high spending potential if you are in a consumer play, correct? There's also a very friendly and very active business environment from a B2B market if you are addressing a B2B segment, correct? So something that we need to keep in mind is something that obviously is very helpful to understand the enormity of that market and how to really leverage it, correct? There's a continuous culture of embracing technology. So over there, companies, individuals are continuously trying and testing, continuously wanting to give themselves an advantage. And if we have a product or if we have a service that can actually stimulate this, it allows us to actually penetrate and access that market, correct? And then obviously stable regulatory frameworks, you know, you're protected legally, et cetera, so that's something that's known. And then, you know, market gives us a competitive advantage besides just size and everything else. I think from, you know, an ability to have early adopters, for people that are willing to try, from people that are willing to go through your ideas, to test your ideas, to give you a chance. There's plenty of that in the market, correct? Also, this whole idea of advanced infrastructure, correct? So that's, you know, from working spaces to technology, to access to data centers, to obviously connectivity, etc. So that's something that's almost now even taken for granted, given how well connected the market is. And then also one other thing why US is important is because many other regions and many other countries look up to US, given its influence economically, politically, etc. So if you deliver some success and if you actually, you know, really penetrate and actually have good results within the US market, you will automatically have access to some other global market just because you have proven that you will be able to penetrate that. So these are kind of the high-level 3 reasons why. Now, the reality is going to kick in as we talk about how. And this comes to strategy. So there is no book that writes about how to enter and how to win in US. There's no consulting methodology that's going to come down to us and then somebody's going to share or what's going to be the secret sauce. You have to tailor and we have to tailor and mold our strategies based on the level of maturity of our product, our service, our company, the target market that we want to address, etc. So it's very, very important to understand that there's no copy-paste. Something that worked for us in Hong Kong, in Belgrade, or in South Africa, it does not mean it will in the same way work and be accepted as you enter US or even, you know, maybe some other regions. So tailoring the strategies is very important, and therefore having an approach that talks to that theme, it's very, very important. And I'll give you just a couple of examples of how that actually really works and what it really needs to result in. So you will see some headlines here and you think, wow, this is so boring and this is so obvious. But this is not what it really means. When I say market research, I obviously am not thinking about going and buying 2 Gartner reports that tell us how US market looks like, or getting an IDC report on an innovation quadrant, or maybe reading some blogs of how sexy the market is. When I say market research, means our own research and our own continuous curiosity and learning and our continuous access to information in order to be best equipped to operate in the market. That means talking to competitors, talking to customers, talking to suppliers, talking to people that you will never even work with, but they have enough information and willingness to share with you the pulse of the market, so that you as a company or even as an individual willing to perform there can actually perform and outperform somebody who doesn't think like this, who actually relies on something that is outdated, on something that everybody else has access to, etc. This is a unique approach that we need to create on our own, for our own companies, for our own management, for our own products and services, in order for this to actually function. The second idea is really localization. Now again, in our tech world, when we talk about localization, people think, yeah, translate this on a local language and sell it in a local currency. That's absolutely not what this localization means. This actually means on really catering to the local micro segments and micro needs of the verticals and industries that you want to work with, correct? I often get asked last few weeks as I'm coming in and out of New York and back here, hey, Zoki, what's the situation with economy? I mean, are things really slowing down? Listen, these are all macro stories. These are stories for headlines. This is for CNBC. And I'm not saying that there's no real impact on a wider scale on this. But if you go nitty-gritty into micro segments, into micro industries, into micro verticals, there's so much opportunity. There's so much things happening. There's so much need that is still unfulfilled that the macro story actually plays no role at the greatest significance, but really understanding and localizing our approach, localizing how we really talk to engage the customer, really adopting that something that maybe worked in the past for us in a different market, we here maybe need to change from a business model, from a pricing model, from a contracting, from a legal framework, correct? That's what I mean by localizing. I'll give you some now plastic example, correct? So that this doesn't become just a theory, correct? There's a SaaS company out there that is doing very well and is selling in that particular model quite significantly over the last few years. But entering the US market, their first next win was actually not in a SaaS model, was in a platform as a service model, because the market requested this. The local segments actually wanted still to have some level of control and ownership, and the company that managed to actually introduce that model into its revenue stream and pivot part of the business into that segment had a local success and started to do very, very well. And there's many, many similar examples, but I'm just giving you one that is very, very plastic. And then obviously relationship building. Nothing in US can and be peripheral, can be one-off, can be light touch. It doesn't work anymore. And it never did, I think, and I think it never ever should, because there's a lot of competition, there's a lot of similarity, there's a lot of people waiting in a lobby for the meeting after yours. So building and forging this relationship and fostering something that really is long-term and not very transactional, that needs to be projected from our approach, from our conversation, from the language that we use, from the way we engage and approach. Is very, very important. Now, the second part of that strategic slide at the very beginning was really innovation, and unleashing that innovative thinking allows us to really go through competition and go through markets much, much faster if we demonstrate our ability and agility to change, to innovate, to modernize, to learn, to continuously be at the cutting edge of technology or at the cutting edge of disruptive business models, correct? So one or another is something that's going to always secure us seat at the table, correct? Otherwise, we are not really interested, correct? There are so many other similar products or similar services or similar size companies, and it's going to end up being who is cheaper and who can do something faster. That's a boring game. That's not sexy. That's obviously not exciting. And you know, that's not how you win. That's how you win small. And you know, I gave an interview prior to the conference where I actually said what could be an issue and what we need to really think of when it comes to Serbian ecosystem and from here. Let's don't be happy with small wins. Let's don't be happy just by winning locally, and let's just don't get satisfied by small wins. We have the right, and we have proven in the past that we can win big. And therefore, let's be bold, let's be aggressive, let's be structured, and embrace some of these concepts. Now, what I mean by unleashing innovation, really what puts us at the table and what makes us interesting is if we are at the cutting edge. I think we have a great set of schools here. We're producing great engineers, we're producing great products. We are probably struggling in monetizing and in selling, but we are still working, and we should continuously learn and want to be engaged in a cutting-edge technology, to actually have something new and innovative to present, to talk, to show relevance, to actually talk about the latest things. That's what people that you approach in US raises their hand, the light bulb goes on, and you actually get the time of their day to actually listen to you. So it's very, very important that that is something that is on top of our mind as we talk about innovation and as we work on certain things, correct? Then also from the intellectual property, let's make sure we also protect, we patent, we also make sure that things that is really unique and that is ours, that we actually register this in a way that even that becomes a talking point and something that becomes unique and different than usually, correct? And then disruption. People like to listen to disruptors, but not just from a perspective that you bring a disruptive business model and you know how to execute it, but also demonstrate that you are ready to be disrupted. And then what then happens to you, is it being by innovation or by market forces, etc., that you are still stable and that you still know how to react, that you can pivot and that you can still be a partner of choice for these companies. So something that I would like to keep in mind as we talk about what it really means to unleash the innovation coming from this region, from our companies and from our services. Now, for me, the most important part is really how do we go to market? How do we build these bridges and relationships for market penetration and for market engagement? That's very unique. That's something that is very customized for every company. But it's something that also by no means can be high level, cannot be a copy-paste, cannot be something that maybe have worked as we were in an early stage and we now think that's going to just repeat and deliver results as we move into a later stage company. And there are a few things that are very critical for us to really do in this process. Number one, again, high-level concepts, and somebody will say, wow, branding. what do you mean by branding? I definitely don't mean posters around the city and spamming on social media and just using the traditional point of thinking. Branding means using every other possible channel to deliver the message from your company, from your individual employees. That means personal branding, that means engagement with media, that means stage presence and earning the right to be at the right place at the right time with the right topic. Branding also means delivering and internally in a company vertical subject matter expertise, domain knowledge, something that actually allows you to talk about business problems and something where we demonstrate to the market that we understand their problems and problems how they serve their customers. That topic secures us, as I said, sit at the table, it secures us and allows us to have a conversation where somebody will share with us what actually really hurts on their side. And the moment that happens in those meetings and in those sessions, 70–80% of the sales process is done. Why? Because we are the only ones in a room to whom this has been revealed, correct? So now it's up to us to actually lose it. So that level of branding, writing, communicating, using other customers to speak on your behalf is part of branding, correct? So this has nothing to do with our traditional marketing departments and our traditional approach. This is part of our everyday branding. Everybody in a company is a salesperson. That's part of branding. Correct? So very, very important part of go-to-market, especially if we are ambitious of winning in that market. The second thing is these customer interactions, correct? Be transparent, be open, ask for feedback. From personal experience, and my boss sits here, and I hope he will not take it wrongly for me sharing this information, but it's very important and it's unique. It was very interesting that when I met existing customers, how much they wanted to give us feedback, and then I was like, wow, okay, it's interesting that we never received this because this is actionable and it's something that we can fix and do better, and this is great that they actually ask us this. But at the same time, the customer themselves wanted feedback from us, correct? And when that happens, you actually really know that you have a great customer interaction. Somebody who values what you can give back, what you can bring in, what you can share, what you can bring maybe from other customers and from other markets into what you have now learned that they're doing, etc. Correct? So again, that interaction level needs to be intimate, needs to be long-term, it needs to be patient. Nothing happens next Monday. Nothing changes next week, correct? So these interactions need to be really, thought through, strategic. It needs to involve more people for the company in order for them to understand that you're not a one-man show, that you're not just another shoe salesman coming with a better color, because this is not how you do tech these days. This is not how we sell services and products, and that's not how we differentiate. And then obviously, having the ability to integrate into community. And this is important. This means our presence in the market. This is us making some additional efforts in the market in order to demonstrate our commitment and obviously opening doors for us to actually eventually win. You cannot treat a market like US or Asia Pacific with a remote control. Sitting here or sitting in some other remote place and thinking things will happen to us just because I fly in like a parachute once in a while, we do something, and then again we end up being satisfied with small wins, correct? But this topic is about winning big. That means being physically present, being embedded into the communities. And this is not just community where you live. This is business community. This is events. This is forums. This is accelerators. This is now becoming a mentor to US companies, etc., etc. So this is what this really means. Next slide. Now, a couple of slides to conclude. So what is really that path to actually success and to winning? And it has a couple of things that I've written here as really important. This is a transformative journey, correct? It's something that has its continuity. It's not one-time project. It will never happen with some kind of deadline, correct? It's something that is continuous. It's something that we need to embrace. It's something that's going to be challenging. It's something that is going to really, require from us a resolve, a commitment, a different dedication and different approach. But guess what? That US market is going to be the biggest aphrodisiac you have ever tasted, correct? And from that perspective, I guarantee you that if we embrace just 25% of concepts and ideas and some of the examples that I've given, I think we will have a great chance and we will have a right to celebrate successes and wins. What is it going to require? It's going to require continuous learning, correct? Something, a curiosity of us continuously adopting, changing, and embracing something that is different, something that is going to keep us fresh, something that's going to allow us to speak at the next conference, at the next meeting, at the next visit with the customers without us continuously just trying to sell, correct? People don't like to be sold anymore. Market has been oversold. They like to be treated well. They need to understand that you understand their problems, both professionally, maybe even personally, before they actually engage. So it's very, very important to actually continue to learn, not just from a technical background and from innovation and from our products and services, but also continuously to learn about culture, people, and everything else, business in general, in order for us to succeed. Not to mention so much sustainability, but also have an idea of what an ambition to expand and diversify. Our success is going to be measured also by our ability to adjust the product and service, to change, to actually say, we had one way of selling, we had one way of marketing our services, but now the market is disruptive and we are ready to embrace a different approach. We can change, we can employ a different set of people, we can actually have different management at a certain stage of a company. We were good with the first set of management and leadership and even founders and CEOs that ran this organization for a while. But now if we really want to double down and double click and win, especially at a larger scale, maybe we need to organize ourselves differently. Maybe we need to finance ourselves differently. Maybe we need to partner with different people in different way in order to actually really deliver these results and actually show that we deserve the right to be in that winning circle. And finally, if you haven't done your first steps into that market, maybe the journey can start now, today, with some of these ideas and some of these thoughts. And for some of you that already have done it, you probably are finding some of that maybe interesting or maybe not. But the whole idea here is that when I think of US, I don't think a place where we're going to go for a fight, where we actually go into a war. I actually look at US market as a huge playground, like a kid in a Lego store, correct? The court has been drawn for us. The ball is in our hand. We bring the ball, we bring the goalposts, we put them where we want them at the stage and at the size that it's up to us, and we start to play hard, we start to play smart, and most importantly, we want to enjoy that journey, correct? So to take away three things from today here is be bold, correct? Take calculated risks, try different things, don't hesitate. The moment the market see you hesitate or test or experiment, there's no way you won't succeed. So be bold, take those steps. Second is be visionary, but still be focused, have a strategy, be adaptable, but stick to it. Repeat it, stick to it, but also remain enough fluid that if you're disrupted, you can actually change, adopt, and actually still stick to a vision that you originally have. And finally, obviously, be committed. As I said, you don't treat US market with a remote control, you invest, you double click, you go in and you go in strong. When everybody else is backing out, when everybody else is saving, if you're in a position to invest, if you're in a position to hire, if you're in a position to actually step in, you now go in. And that's the secret to success. This is demonstration that you actually committed. That also means that you will hire locally, that you will bring in international management, that you actually have, take out a flag you planted into the ground and you started to actually work on some of these ideas that will take us to the final destination, and that is to success in the US market. So with that, and I think my time is up, I want to thank you. And obviously, I'll be around, and if people have questions, either now or later, I'll be happy to answer. But thank you for being here, and good luck.